Hello and welcome to this Sunday, August 11th, 2019 episode of Apple Sidekick. Now, today's episode is about the Apple Watch and how I fell back in love with it. Now, when I originally got the Apple Watch, I really enjoyed it. I loved its tracking features. I wore it every day. And then as I wasn't working outside of the house, I stopped using it. And I just kind of grew out of the habit of using it. Now, because of these podcasts, I started using it again. And one of the biggest things was that it wasn't very fast. And now it isn't the fastest watch, that's for sure, because this is the original generation one. But the more I learn about the Apple Watch for these podcasts and for the integration into the home, I'm finding that the Series 4 really has gotten most things right. There's no better smartwatch on the market than the Apple Watch Series 4. Now, there are some features like the ECG disabled outside of the US. That kind of sucks. But the point is, the technology is in the watch, and if you live in the US, you have no problems. The Apple Watch is an extension of me. And now, when I wasn't wearing it earlier, I was like, oh man, I don't have my watch on. It's nice just to have on your wrist, and it does tracking, and it's nice when you do meet your goals. Those kinds of things are like, oh, I met a goal. It's like, oh yeah, I remember having these goals. And so I'm working on having a sound mind and body. And in order to do that, I have to be eating right, exercising, moving, breathing, all these things. They're very important. The Apple Watch helps with all of those. Helps with breathing, helps with moving, helps with your food. I haven't got the Waterminder app, but I have looked into it, and it's something that I want. I don't have a lot of extra funds. I'm being straight up honest. And the couple dollars that it costs, I think it's $3 or $5. I just didn't have on my card that I used for my Apple account, so I didn't buy it. But I am going to, because I drink water and I need to be keeping track of it better. I am moving away from other beverages, and I was drinking a lot of juice because I used to drink a lot of other bad stuff, energy drinks and stuff like that. And now I switched to juice, and I was doing it partly to heal, but at the same time, I think it's kind of over. It's bad because it's all processed. I need to be squeezing my own juice. So until then, I'm going to focus on water, and I'll be squeezing my own juice here shortly. So having the app to be able to track all those things right on my wrist, integrating these things into my life more, that's what this show's about. So that's why I'm telling you about this. I just watched a comparison between the Fitbit and the Apple Watch Series 4. And as a device as a whole, there really is no comparison. If you don't have anything, yeah, the Fitbit is cool. But I wouldn't take a Fitbit over my Generation 1 Apple Watch. That's the interesting thing. Now, this isn't waterproof, so that is unfortunate. But I think the Series 2 is when they added that in there. So if you buy a used device, double check before you purchase, do a comparison to see what works best for you and get the device that works best for you and your needs. You may need to save up a little bit of extra money to get the Series 4 so that you have the extra features of the Series 4. I mean, that's going to be my next purchase. Either it's the Series 4 or the Series 5 after an iMac. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the iPhone 11 brings as well. But I mean, my iPhone 10 is a great phone. An iMac and an Apple Watch are probably some of the next upgrades. I would like to purchase a HomePod. I don't have a HomePod, but things are loud enough. Just the speakers of my iPad are loud enough. Just the speakers in my MacBook are loud enough. So I'm not worried about needing a HomePod right now. In the future, as the prototype comes together, the HomePod is included in the Happy Hero Studio. And that's what I'm working on, the Happy Hero Studio. That's why I'm doing these podcasts, to develop my knowledge, to strengthen myself for the development of the Happy Hero Studio, Happy Hero Spaces, Happy Hero Villages, and Happy Hero Cities. The point of the Happy Hero Studio is to start off, and then we're going to manufacture into more scalable devices. But the Happy Hero Studio comes with a Mac Pro standard. The reason it comes with the Mac Pro standard is because I believe that people need that sort of power to really unleash their creativity in this sort of space. When you have the 3D printers, when you have the laser printer, the 3D laser printer, when you have the carver, when you have all of these technologies at your fingertips, having a Mac Pro to inspire you, to engage you, to be able to unleash your creativity so that you're not bogged down by the computer. That's important. That's why I've included it. But I've included a HomePod. I've included HomeKit accessories because those are important as well. The Apple Watch can control some of this, but from what I've seen, Apple has kind of slacked in that area. So there is plenty of room for innovation, for joining outside companies, for these outside companies to be acquired. They will either be acquired or copied by Apple. But if they position themselves appropriately and attractively to Apple, they are more likely to be acquired. These are ways to attract funds for our communities. Apple has a lot of cash. If they invest in the right companies, the right people, spreading out throughout the United States, they can build a much stronger infrastructure. My intention is to manufacture all Apple products. Every single Apple product I intend to manufacture through the villages of the future that I am building. Starts with the Happy Hero Studio. The Happy Hero Studio is almost like an Apple design studio. That's the goal of what it'll be. Now, what the Happy Hero Spaces are for, that's to help feed, house, and empower 1 billion people by 2049. That's the ultimate goal. There's multiple pieces to this. There's so many pieces to this. And I've got off course on talking about my own stuff, and it's supposed to be about Apple devices. But the point is that these are spaces that are controllable by the Apple Watch. The Apple Watch, combined with the other devices, creates such a marvelous ecosystem that it cannot compare. Even with its downfalls, even with its extra price, it's still the device to beat. Thank you for another episode of Apple Sidekick. Have a great day.